Four Pillars lawsuit gets gigantic approval to proceed from Court of Appeal for British Columbia. We hope that you and your family are safe, healthy and secure during this coronavirus pandemic. Ira Smith Trustee and Receiver Inc. is absolutely operational, and Ira, in addition to Brandon Smith, is readily available for a telephone consultation or video meeting. The Four Pillars lawsuit class action in my November 25, 2019, Brandon blog titled, How Does Debt Relief Work? Apparently not great for everyone. I wrote about the litigation involving Four Pillars Debt and Credit Restructuring Company, Four Pillars Consulting Group Inc. and other entities, Four Pillars or the Four Pillars lawsuit, Pierce v. Four Pillars Consulting Group Inc., 2019 BCSC 1851. Mr. Pierce is suing for damages for the fees billed by Four Pillars to all persons that paid fees to it in British Columbia in connection with a consumer proposal under the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Act Canada, BIA, or an informal debt settlement negotiation proposal with the individual's creditors, all after April 1, 2016. Mr. Pierce claims that it is appropriate for the refunding fees paid, damages for alleged losses stemming from breaches of the Provincial Business Practices and Consumer Protection Act (BPCPA) and BIA, and damages based upon the claim that the fees billed were unscrupulous under Section 8 of the BPCPA. Four Pillars lawsuit. What is a class action proceeding? As part of that litigation, Mr. Pierce applied to the BC court to have his litigation turned into a class action proceeding. The court ruled that there were enough grounds for his legal action to move forward as a class action claim. As can be expected, Four Pillars objected to that motion. They also unsuccessfully argued that certain sections of the claim should be stricken. Four Pillars appealed that decision to the Court of Appeal for British Columbia. On May 17, 2021, the Court of Appeal for British Columbia released its decision. In this Brandon blog, I discuss the appeal, what the appeal court had to say and what it decided in the Four Pillars lawsuit appeal. Debtor warning. Debt consultants sometimes not what they appear. What Four Pillars say their organization's role is. Four Pillars states that they are professionals who provide a variety of services specific to individuals in debt. They say they outline the choices readily available and also walk people through the procedure. They say that your financial debt settlement will likely be one of the following, which they will manage on your behalf: informal debt settlement, consumer proposals, bankruptcy. They also say they will work with the person on their aftercare. They also say that their role ranges from providing individual debt settlements on behalf of debtors with collection agencies and their creditors to negotiating with licensed insolvency trustees, individually a trustee, bankruptcy trustee or lit, on behalf of a debtor in determining the terms of a consumer proposal. What the Court of Appeal for British Columbia says about the role of Four Pillars. The Court of Appeal described them this way: Four Pillars sell their debt restructuring services as debt advisors to individuals on the brink of insolvency who are seeking debt restructuring. They are unlicensed and charge fees above those professionals who are licensed and regulated. Their debt consulting business is not licensed or registered, and they charge customers fees up front for services regardless of whether the appellants actually achieve any debt relief. Their debt consulting services are to meet and work with consumers who are struggling with debt, to help them draft a consumer proposal to present to a lit, and to engage in back and forth discussions with the lit in efforts to have the lit agree to a consumer proposal that is favorable to the debtor. All of these services are provided with the goal that the lit will then present the consumer proposal to the debtor's creditors. Four Pillars may then provide input, on the debtor's behalf, on any response or request from the creditors. Four Pillars lawsuit. What do the Four Pillars debt consultants services actually involve? Just to remind you, this is what the lower BC court and the Court of Appeal for British Columbia found the Four Pillars services to be: to meet and work with consumers who are struggling with debt, to help them draft a consumer proposal to present to a lit, and to engage in back and forth discussions with the lit in efforts to have the lit agree to a consumer proposal that is favorable to the debtor. Provide input, on the debtor's behalf, on any response or request from the creditors. They charge customers fees up front for services regardless of whether the appellants actually achieve any debt relief. Charge fees above those professionals who are licensed and regulated. This is very common amongst all the debt restructuring businesses. It is questionable what value they provide, if any at all. Their business model preys on people's fears of getting advice straight from licensed insolvency trustees. The services described above a lit provides at no additional cost above and beyond what the government-approved tariff fee is. The reality is that you do not need the Four Pillars Consulting Group Inc. As a lit, I provide financial advice regarding your unmanageable debt, and if you are a candidate for informal debt settlement, I will tell you exactly what to do in our no-cost initial consultation. If you have too much personal debt and are not a candidate for an informal settlement, I have many times prepared consumer proposals that work. As part of that process, I also act as a licensed credit counselor. Is debt settlement really worth it? Debt settlement is really worth it. Going to one of these unscrupulous debt settlement companies, instead of a licensed insolvency trustee for debt settlement, is not. If you've been struggling with debt, it's time to consider debt settlement through a consumer proposal with the services of a lit. It likely won't sound appealing at first, and you may feel that you are taking a gamble, but the process of debt settlement can be incredibly beneficial to you. Keep in mind that even 4 pillars introduce you to a lit in order for you to relieve yourself of your debts, hopefully through a consumer proposal process. A consumer proposal is the only government-approved debt relief program. A lit can get you a true debt settlement, without having to pay extra unnecessary fees to any of the debt relief companies. Now let's see what the Court of Appeal for British Columbia had to say about this 4 pillars consulting debt restructuring services businesses appeal from the lower court decision. Class action waiver not effective to resist class action certification. The Court of Appeal of British Columbia believes the class action waiver clause is unenforceable as being contrary to public policy. The class action waiver significantly interferes with the administration of justice. It would have the effect of precluding class action lawsuits. It has the impact of precluding Mr. Pierce and class participants from having access to justice and to a dispute resolution procedure in accordance with the law for claims developing from the connection between these parties. Therefore, the class action certification was upheld. Other grounds of appeal in the 4 Pillars lawsuit. Having reviewed the evidence filed in respect of 4 Pillars applications for summary dismissal and after considering their arguments, the lower court judge was not satisfied that Mr. Pierce's arguments in the 4 Pillars lawsuit, that 4 Pillars was acting for, or representing, a debtor in arrangements or negotiations with their creditors, is bound to fail. The evidence suggested that 4 Pillars had a role in the negotiations between a debtor and their creditors regarding a consumer proposal, even if they were not directly engaged with creditors. The lower court's view was there is a genuine issue to be decided at trial on a full evidentiary record. Accordingly, the judge dismissed the 4 Pillars attempt to strike the portions of the pleadings in respect of the plaintiff's claims under the BPCPA. The Court of Appeal for British Columbia agreed that it will be necessary to have a trial to figure out if claims can occur from offenses of the BIA. Therefore, 4 Pillars was likewise unsuccessful in getting this issue stricken from the 4 Pillars lawsuit. Trouble ahead for 4 Pillars in Ontario and elsewhere because of the class action in British Columbia? It will be very interesting to see how this class action 4 Pillars lawsuit winds its way through the BC court. Absent an appeal to the Supreme Court of Canada, it is now game on. Mr. Pierce and all members of the class have the green light to continue the litigation. If successful, it goes to the heart of the 4 Pillars business model. Every franchisee across Canada needs to worry. I hope you found this 4 Pillars lawsuit Brandon blog informative. Are you worried because you or your business are dealing with substantial debt challenges and you assume bankruptcy as your only option? Call me. It is not your fault that you remain in this way. You have actually been only shown the old ways to try to deal with financial issues. These old ways do not work anymore. The Ira Smith team utilizes new modern-day ways to get you out of your debt difficulties while avoiding bankruptcy. We can get you the relief you need and so deserve. The tension put upon you is big. We know your discomfort factors. We will check out your entire situation and design a new approach that is as unique as you and your problems, financial and emotional. We will take the weight off of your shoulders and blow away the dark cloud hanging over you. We will design a debt settlement strategy for you. We know that we can help you now. We understand that people and businesses facing financial issues need a realistic lifeline. There is no one-solution-fits-all method with the Ira Smith team. Not everyone has to file bankruptcy in Canada. The majority of our clients never do. We help many people and companies stay clear of bankruptcy. That is why we can establish a new restructuring procedure for paying down debt that will be built just for you. It will be as one of a kind as the economic issues and discomfort you are encountering. If any one of these seems familiar to you and you are serious about getting the solution you need, contact the Ira Smith Trustee and Receiver Inc. Group today. Call us now for a no-cost consultation. We will get you or your business back up driving to healthy and balanced trouble-free operations and get rid of the discomfort factors in your life, starting over, starting now.